everybody, I'm Milky Witch and welcome into my cottage. Today we'll be visiting another of my islands, YUZU, named after a citrus fruit that's popular in Japan. YUZU is quite different to my other islands, firstly because it was set in winter, which was a challenge in itself, but it was fun to try something new. It's a Japanese-inspired spa with hot springs and a small but cozy hiking trail. So today I will show you around the island, as well as all the villager houses, and my own tea shop at the end. And I'll also leave you with some scenic nighttime shots of YUZU. So grab a cuppa, sit back, and enjoy this cozy gem hidden in the snowy mountains. Welcome to YUZU! Right off the bat, we've got a yellow airport that matches the citrus fruit that this whole island is named after, the yuzu. And our flag, as you can see there, is the yuzu bath, which is one of the main items that inspired the whole island. So here on YUZU, we'll have a quick look at the map before we walk around. It's mainly a self-contained loop with a few little different areas that you can go and explore off the main path. It's difficult to get lost on YUZU, which is how I like to design my islands, so you should be able to just go in the big circle and be able to see everything. So on this island we have me, whose house is the tea shop that we'll explore at the end. And then we have Bianca, Flurry, Wade, Fang, Antonio, Fauna, because she's on all of my islands, Shino, Waltz, Deli, and Dobie. All of their interiors are decorated. Most of them are actually themed after certain things. And we'll look at those all at the very end, so you're not going to miss out on any interiors, especially because obviously with the dream address, you won't be able to see everything. So here on YUZU, I love the vibe of sort of just the afternoon going into the evening as all the lights turn on. And right through the entrance, we've got lots of gyroids, which is a signature part of this island, as well as the YUZU bath, of course. So if you can just walk through this path and over this bridge, we come to Antonio's house. Antonio's interior is actually the welcoming in information center, as well as this little assistant gyroid directing that. And again, we'll see that at the end. Here's Antonio now. He knows there's no new visitors to welcome right now. So from Antonio's house, you could actually go left if you wanted to, and that would take you to the spa area, as well as my place, the tea shop. But if you go to the right, you can go to the residential area and then eventually end up on the hiking trail. So that's the way we're going to go today. But the choice is yours. So here's our resident services. Sort of like just a little self-contained area. And then it looks like there's 3 ways to go, but if you come down here, it ends up just being a closed loop. So let's head down. This area is meant to look a lot more lived in than the rest of the island, which is a lot more natural. But because this is our suburb, we've got a lot more buildings. Poor Bendoid at the bus stop waiting for a bus that will never come. And then we have our Nook's Cranny. We left this at the sort of shack stage because it just fits in with the island a lot better. And then up here is Walt's house. Walt's house is actually a convenience store. I had a little check earlier and he's actually crafting right now, so he's kind of ruined the setup, so we'll look at it properly at the end. And then across to this bridge, if you head down, you're going to be going to a fish market, or we can head up here to see the neighborhood. So this is our just little suburb with Fauna, Fang, and Shino's houses. So all of their interiors are sort of just normal little apartments. Come up here. Just like a little bit of waterscaping, another bath, of course. Just more suburban feel about it. This was actually one of the first areas we did on this island. I always thought about coming back to it and changing some things, but I think it gets the vibe across we're going for. So down here, you're welcomed down to the fish market. So we've got a lot of fishermen set up, catching a lot of different things. And here's our very impatient wallopoid waiting to load up some fish that people have caught to take away. They'll be coming, sir, don't worry. And then further along, we've got another friendly gyroid selling their wares. And just a lot of fishing equipment. And then somehow a giant shark. And up here we've got Wade's house. So Wade's interior is reflecting the vibes of the beach. So his little fisherman shack. Obviously you can slip back here if you want to. And then this is where he does his laundry and does his own little fisherman fishing. You can actually climb this vine if you want a shortcut. Back to the bridge. And this time we'll go right. Sorry, Wade. So down here we've got just a very small laundry. A little fake apartment building. I wish I'd done more of these now in hindsight, but at least we got one in there. And then now we're sort of going into the more nature-y feel of the island at the campsite. But then if you pop down here actually and follow this path, you'll come to Bianca's house. So Bianca rents out sleighs for anyone who'd like to go to the back of the mountains and use these sleds. And then she's also got this wood chopping area. You can squeeze on down to the beach if you'd like to, but it's pretty scarcely decorated. Just making sure it's not empty. So up here we have the campsite, which was actually the very first area we decorated. Just a simple little picnic. And then the main river. Crossing this little bridge. We can quickly go up here on this little path. Again, just sort of like a very natural decorated beach. And then further up, we have another bath, as we try to have everywhere on the island. As well as the bonsai zone. So someone obviously likes to come here and take care of the bonsai. Basically, in case it's not obvious, I just wasn't sure what to put on this peninsula, so we went with this setup, but I think it looks quite nice, especially with the pine tree in the background. And for anyone who doesn't know, my favorite color is definitely pink, so working on this island was difficult, having all the cooler colors, but this is the one part where I permitted myself to have a little bit of pink. So heading back down. And then up here is the start of what I like to call the hiking trail. It's a pretty small hike, but there's only so much you can fit into an Animal Crossing island. So if you want to, you can come in here and have a sit and enjoy the waterfall and all the flowers. The main way to go is this dirt path leading down, so we'll just quickly come up here and have a look at Dopey's house on the left here. He's the author of the island, sort of inspired by his Happy Home Paradise builds, that he's a secluded author. And he's got this sort of touristy loop on the side here, which is just a nice spot for people to come and meditate. Obviously, if you want to, you can come across. Then you can just sort of follow this loop around. It's a nice peaceful spot to sit and relax and read. Maybe get some inspiration if you're a local author. And then we'll come back down to the main path. Through here, it sort of becomes the lake walk now. So obviously we're just behind the resident services, as you can see. And then in the back, we've got our big lake, which I always enjoy having on my islands. As well as a few little standing islands in the middle of the lake. Across up to here, we've got a spot to sit for a memorial for this couple that was buried back there. It's a nice little touch to tie it all together. And as we come to here, what we've done now is we've sort of actually stumbled across the spa of the island. It's split into two parts. So down below we have the more modern spa bathhouse, and then at the back we have the hot springs. But before we go to them, hello, we'll come up here around the other side of the lake. Where we have Blather's tent. Again, the main museum certainly wouldn't fit at all on this island, but the tent looks perfect. So Blathers is out here sort of just exploring and seeing the nature of this, the more overgrown area of the island. I cruelly have surrounded him with bugs. That's okay. You can come through here and you can look at all of this, but it really is just filler, so that when you're walking around the other side of the lake, it doesn't look empty. And now you can go back, but these little stones direct you to come to this hanging vine, where you can come to this sort of mystical zone. I honestly just could not help myself. Obviously, as a witch, I enjoy having some sort of magical powers on my island, and this is it for this island. So this is sort of the spring that brings all of the color to nature, which is why it's surrounded by the flowers. So you can come here and make a wish and hope that the spirits will grant it for you. And of course, lots of little gyroids, as always, and a little fake building back there, just to add to the scenery. Oh, sorry, tree. But that's all that's there, so let's head over and we'll check out the hot springs. So we'll head up first to go check out the hot springs. Obviously in the middle here, it's sort of just like a transition zone. So there's just a spot to sit and have a cup of tea. Maybe between going from the spa to the hot springs. But if you come up this sort of private path, we get to the hot springs. I have to say, this is my favorite part of the island. It's what the whole thing sort of set up for. And we've got KK lovers playing everywhere, so that's all you should hear when you're in the hot springs and the spa. Obviously sometimes the music from the game likes to come on in, but this is mostly the main hit, so to speak. So over here we've got all sorts of different baths, mainly though a lot of yuzu baths, seeing as they're meant to be the sort of hero item for the island. Obviously, tragically, you can't actually decorate on the 4th tier cliffs, but that's kind of okay. It makes it seem a lot more like the top of the mountain. And lots of gyroids as well to help you out while you're in the baths. And then over here we have Deli's house, which is sort of a continuation as well, and more hot springs on the interior. So leaving that very relaxing place, and as you can see the sun is setting too, which I think is very nice to have as you're sort of finishing your journey around the island, ready to relax. So if you come down here, we've got some stairs on either side, which leads to the actual spa. Again, we've got some music playing throughout the whole area and lots of gyroids. And just a lot of different baths for you to enjoy. This is another area where at first I wasn't actually sure if I wanted to be actually my house or if I wanted it to be an outdoor build, but in the end I'm very happy that we went with this. I think it's nice to be able to have this really large space to get as many baths in as we could. And of course this guy blowing bubbles for you. And then you can leave through here, which will take you around to the restaurant / tea house, which is my place. But we'll actually visit that a little bit later. If you continue up here past this fake building, you'll see that we've come back to the resident, sorry, not to the resident services, to the information center and the entrance of the island. So you definitely could have started off by going to the left if you wanted to. And down here is just a really small area, just a little picnic. Somewhere to sit and relax near the start of the island. If you follow this path across the bridge, again, it's just a little small-ish area that's easy to walk around and come back again. So we've got the Able sisters with a pretty typical sort of sewing setup going on and kimono stands to show off their goods. And then past here we have Flurry's house. So Flurry is also a seamstress, which we'll see in her interior. So we've sort of just got her work area out here for when she wants to move outdoors. And then her laundry area. You can come up this beach, obviously. And then at that point, I've blocked you off. It looks like you might be able to get around, but you certainly cannot. And that's just because the beaches are just pretty boring, to be honest. So no need to waste your time up there. And even this one is just very, you know, natural and sparse. Hello, Hob. But now if we come up here, we come to the end of the island tour. With this outdoor eating area that's sort of like spilling out from the restaurant. And of course, I couldn't help myself but to add an extra bath to the left there. But that is essentially the full island in a nutshell. Obviously, we sort of sped through some areas, and if you were to explore the dream address, you'd be more than welcome to spend a little bit more time looking at all the details, sitting down, taking some photos. I've left some goodies around as well in the dream address to give you something a little bit more to do. But now that we've seen the island itself, let's check out the restaurant and tea house. So in the main room of my house, we have the restaurant area and the bar back here. Obviously, I know this is sort of spilling into other cultures more than Japanese, but obviously we sort of have to work with the items we've got in the game. So sort of just going for a nice cozy restaurant vibe here with the working bar at the back. With a lot of delicious food. As you can probably see here, all of the doors on this level have been tactfully closed off. The open curtains obviously implying that there's more eating rooms to the side, and at the back we've got the main kitchen, but you cannot explore those rooms. I truly just did not have the inspiration for it, but I was very happy with how at least the main restaurant came out. And then if we go upstairs, we'll get to the rooftop tea area. So here we have it. It's sort of meant to look like it's a rooftop balcony. So this would obviously be leading down to the main restaurant. And then this is sort of just a balcony to sit and drink your tea while looking out at the beautiful views of the mountains of YUZU. Obviously we have a lot of heaters going on because it would get incredibly chilly up here. You can hear the wind blowing through, but I like to think with a hot cup of tea in your hands, this would be a very nice place to relax, probably where I would most enjoy being on the island. And now down in the basement, we have my little apartment. So obviously as the owner of this building, I need somewhere to live myself. So this is my little self-contained apartment, which people might notice is a sort of ongoing theme for my islands now. Wattle Seed was the same. I just really enjoy doing these builds. So here we've got the sort of like sitting room and kitchen. Everything you need really in a little apartment, as well as some of my favorite gyroids. And then if you continue through here, we come to my bedroom and bathroom. I haven't made my bed. I'm a busy lady running my own restaurant and tea house by myself. And then the bathroom has everything you need, really. It's got the toilet, the sink, and there's a shower there on the wall. just a nice little cozy apartment, and I would be lying if I said I wouldn't want something similar to this in real life. Um, you know, we can live out our dreams in Animal Crossing. That's just a brief overview, and again, obviously you can explore this yourself on the Dream address. And that wraps up our tour of Yuzu. Thank you so much for enjoying the island along with me. I hope you did enjoy the tour, and I would love to hear about you exploring it on the Dream address as well. I had a lot of fun building this island, and I'm happy to say it's done now and to send it off. I don't think I'll be doing something similar in the future, but it was a fun challenge to do. It definitely has some of the more cozy vibes, and of all of the islands I've done, I think I'd like to visit this one the most. But now it's time to bid farewell to Yuzu and to all of the lovely residents and their wonderful hot springs. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful time. As I mentioned earlier on the island tour, Antonio's home is the welcome room and sort of the information center for Yuzu. So it's sort of like a nice spot to people to first come in and ask what to do on the island and get directed, probably either to the hike or to the spa. So it's just a sort of sitting area over there and somewhere to sit and have a cup of tea while you read about what's available in Yuzu. And then, oh, I was about to say, if Antonio is feeling generous, he can go and stand behind the counter. Nope. Obviously, that's where ideally he would stand. And he's just sort of got his little storage area back there. Now, don't worry about it looking like Antonio has nowhere to sleep. I like to think he either gets to bunk with somebody else or in one of those fake buildings outside. That could be his home. Oh, thank you, Antonio. I just thought he had the perfect vibes for Yuzu, honestly. So this is where you would first pop in to learn about the island. So here we have Fauna's house, who appears to have a visitor over. What a lovely duo, seeing as Fauna is a big reader in my mind, so I often give her lots of books, no houses. And then Dobie is the local author of the island, so it makes sense that these two would be coming together. So Fauna's house is just, I don't know, a nice little apartment. She's got her kitchen and dining room, and then her bed back here as well. And then obviously a really big area dedicated to just lots of books and reading with a nice cup of tea. This is actually very similar, if not identical, to the layout that I gave her in Waddleseed. I sort of associate this with her now. But obviously redone to match Yuzu. But thank you, you two, for letting me interrupt for a little bit there. I'll let you get back to your visit. And then here we have Fang's house, another member of the little neighborhood. Pretty simple, straightforward design. Just a little area to cook his food, sit down and eat it. Got a go table here, and a pretty spacious double bed. And a cozy fireplace, of course, for those very cold winter nights that they get here. Went for more sort of toned down and more greys here than on the rest of the island, sort of to match his fur. But overall, just a nice little simple house for our lovely wolf. And here we have Shino's house. Again, this is sort of a case of me just taking a layout from previous. This is Shino's house from Witchwood, actually, my first island. But redone over here a little bit. Obviously, the villagers you can't really control when they decide to randomly cook or do DIY, so I sort of set up a little station on the side for her here so it wouldn't interrupt her normal layout. And then we've got sort of the illusion of stairs going up there to an attic. And then we have the area for her to sit and have her food. And then obviously Shino gets to enjoy a beautiful view of the ocean. And you can hear the lovely ocean waves. And then tucked into the back here is her bedroom. I decided to include some pink as well as the greens for Shino because, again, I was sort of hankering to use the color pink by this point. And I thought it matched well for her. So here we have Wade's little hut, so to speak, where he fishes. And he's got a nice little window to the ocean right outside, as well as a freshly caught and cooked fish. So he's got his little cooking setup here, little storage area, and somewhere to do some DIY stuff. I'm not sure where he sleeps. I guess in the attic somewhere. Yeah, I just thought having Wade so close to the fisherman's market would give him this fisherman's vibe, of course, with a gyroid and some music playing. And the beautiful sounds of the ocean. So here we have Walt's convenience store. I just really wanted to do a build like this for some reason on this island. So it's meant to look a little bit shabby. Because, you know, it's a pretty small community. They don't need nothing fancy. So we just got lots of shelves. And then back here we have the counter where Walt can actually serve the customers. And of course, all the freezer items at the back there. I wanted to make it spacious enough for Walt himself to actually be able to walk around and also get to the back behind the counter, which is why it might seem a little bit uncluttered compared to a lot of stuff I do. I try to do that with all of the houses so they can walk around a little bit. Yeah, I'm actually very, very happy with how this convenience store came out. Probably one of my favorite houses on the island. So thank you for letting us visit Walt. I'll be back later to get some chips. And here we have Bianca's sleigh hire. So another sort of themed house rather than one where they sleep. And then you can come up and also get some firewood as well that she has freshly chopped outside. But mostly, yeah, you can come up to the counter and rent out your sled. And of course, it's also a nice spot to sit right before the hike, where you can enjoy your last little moment inside with a nice cozy fire. Yeah, I mean, sort of just went for nice, sorry to say it again, cozy vibes in here. I've made pink the highlight color in here because, again, I was really missing using it in flowers and whatnot outside. So just a little few splashes here and there. But just a nice warm bastion from the cold outside. Oh, it looks like even an author needs to get his workout in. Very fair, Toby. So here we have a bit of a messy scene of Dobie's house. He's got a very small area to sit and eat. A little cooking area as well, quite simple. And a little simple bed with nice windows looking out onto the YUZU mountains. Obviously a big part of this is taken up by his desk and all the papers he's got spread around and books that he's doing research in. Oh yes, working up a sweat. Gotta work the body and the mind. Good on you, Dobie. So here we have Deli's house. just a continuation on from the hot springs, really. Got some more yuzu baths. Of course, can never have enough. Over here we have the corner where you can shower first, so you're actually clean before getting into the baths themselves. And then just a little area to have some tea and some snacks. It's also in itself a bit of like a sauna, I suppose, with this heater in the middle. And then we've just got some gyroids demonstrating how relaxing it can be in the bath. The whistloid, because I just feel like he matches the vibes, and then the crumploid, forever trying to reach the water to rehydrate. Yeah, I went for like a lot of sort of natural vibes. From these angles you can't really see it, but if you go up you can sort of see there's heaps of vines. It's a nice peaceful area at the back of the island. Thanks, Deli. So here we have Flurry's house. Isn't she so precious? So originally my idea for Flurry was just to be a hat maker, but then I realized I did not have enough in my catalogue, so we've sort of just made her an all-round seamstress. So at the back there we have all of the kimonos and robes that she's made, and then at the front we've got where she sits and works and designs, as well as some hats to show the original idea. And then on top of that, she's got her little cash register where she can actually let people buy what she's made. I've given her a little stool back there because look how tiny she is. There's no way she could reach the cash register otherwise. And then right at the back here, we've got her bed. She hasn't got time to make the bed, you know, she's a busy gal. And then a pretty extravagant looking wardrobe. Nice and bright in here for Flurry as well because she's such a cutie. Oh my gosh, sorry Flurry, I kind of need to get out. Oh girl, I'm sorry. Oh dear. So yeah. This is Flurry's shop. Thank you for joining me on YUZU. I hope you enjoyed this cold but cozy tour. I'll be popping the dream address in the description so you can explore the island and discover all the little gifts that I left for you along the way. This whole island was created on my Twitch stream, so if you'd like to be involved in the creative process for future islands, please check out my Twitch channel, which is also in the description. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up for the algorithm, and if you'd like to see more of my islands, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be uploading a tour of my bright kidcore city island, hopefully within the next few weeks. So until I see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and remember that you are loved. Bye!